Hey y'all, it's Amanda and this is my Texas Zone 8 garden, and today we're going to be cleaning up part of this bed right here. We're going to be planting in some Delphinium seedlings, some Bells of Ireland seeds for some direct sowing, and we're going to be harvesting a few flowers. Okay, it's beautiful outside, absolutely gorgeous. So I thought I'd come out and just enjoy the weather. I would say it's maybe mid 80s right now. I didn't look. Basically, we're going to be looking at this bed right here. And y'all remember in my last video, we started working on the bed beside it, which has all the new snapdragons in it. And currently this bed has a lot going on in it. And we're going to go ahead and clear out about half of this to start off with and working on the back half of it. So let me bring y'all in closer and show you what's going on in here. Okay, so the bed faces south. It gets late afternoon shade from the willow tree. And let me walk y'all around. Oh, let me first show you my cantaloupes. Look how good those are looking. Love it. So basically, this is the bed from this view, and these are my Amazon beds. They've had them for multiple years. This guy is overrun by azuratum, and this is the azuratum right here. And basically it hasn't been doing a ton of blooming. I think because it doesn't get enough sun right here is what has ended up happening. Earlier on in the year it bloomed a ton, and then once the willow tree filled in, it did not bloom as much. But I want to go ahead and clean a lot of it out. And I want to go ahead and add my delphinium to this bed because my delphinium do struggle with any kind of heat. So I'm hoping a little bit of shade might help them out, help them last a little bit longer in my spring, which I think would be good. I've also got some other stuff. I've got some gomphrena. This is Audrey White gomphrena. This one right here is raspberry cream that's grown out really far. I've got some old fennel plants, it looks like, peeking through right here. Just pretty. These are seed dahlias that are trying to bloom. Oh, look at that. I've also got some zinnias tucked in here. You can see a little bit of them over here. Zinnias tucked in. There's some white ones. Over here is straw flower. But we're going to stop about midway on this. So let's go ahead and start pulling it out, and then I'm going to show you how I'm going to prep my bed. Okay, I am going to start by harvesting some of this azuratum, just the greenery, because I do want to make a flower arrangement with some stuff I have over in another portion of the garden. And even though this azuratum isn't blooming, it sure does make for beautiful foliage. Now, it's a little bit eaten up in some places, which is fine. We're just kind of at that time of year where I kind of just let everything have the garden. Let me go on the other side. Y'all also know me. I'm not one to like be real diligent about trying to keep pests off. It's basically survival of the fittest in my garden. Okay, most of this is eaten up. Well, you know what? Then I just don't feel guilty. I'm not going to feel guilty cutting it all back. So we've just got a few stems of greenery here. Not bad at all. Let me get a container to put these in. Okay, so I did enjoy growing the azuratum from seed this last year. I thought it was easy and was fun. I do think I have it in the wrong place. That it just, once my willow tree had filled in for the summer, that it just didn't do as well, which is okay. Lessons learned, right? So let's pull this out. I very much suspect that this azuratum will have reseeded itself because it did have flowers earlier on. Whew, that's a big plant. And if it reseeds itself, I will dig up some of the seedlings to get rid of them. Now, these are some of my clusters for dahlias, seed dahlias. I'm not going to keep them. Storing dahlias is not something I'm good at. I really did enjoy the process of growing seed dahlias this year. That was really fun. Really liked it. Did I get many blooms from it? No. Did I get joy from growing it? Yes. So I don't think I'm going to grow them again next year. I think I'm going to double down on some of the things that I enjoyed more. These ageratum roots are no joke. Look at that. Y'all, that's one plant. That's insane. Let's see. There's still bits of it stuck in there. Okay. Well, those ageratum plants were quite robust. Look great. Like I said, they were really fun to grow this year. And I'll probably grow them again in the future. Okay. But I'm not going to mess with that side of the bed yet. Really just going to focus on this one. And one of the first things I want to do is I need to feed this bed. This soil is in good shape. I've been adding to it every year, but we want to continue that process. So we'll go ahead and put in 1 bag of compost across this area. I'll go ahead and put in the compost and then I'll pull the drip lines. Actually, I'll pull the drip lines back real quick. And we'll just flop them over into that bed over there. And then once I get the compost laid, then we will put these back in place. Okay, the compost that I use is called Vital Earth, and I get it from Homegrown Plants in Farmersville, Texas. That's also where I get my favorite soil. It's a little bit of a drive for me, but completely worth it to get these quality products. And then also because I just really love their prices, which are really great. And this compost is really nice and rich. It's broken down pretty well, which is great. You don't want your compost to still be what's termed hot, meaning it's still in a really extreme breaking down point. And all I got to do is just spread 1 bag across the top, just like this. Right, so we've got my drip lines in place. Okay, so this next part I've got going, I've got Bells of Ireland. Now, in the past, I've better prepared these seeds. I've put them in the refrigerator for I think 3 to 4 weeks. I'm not doing that this time. So this may be a completely failed experiment, but this is my first time direct sowing them outside. So that's a little bit of the difference. Typically, I would get them started inside and then come and plant them out. So these are only planted at about 1/4 of an inch deep. And I am going to put several seeds in each of the holes. And I am aiming for underneath the drip line. And you guys are going to have to excuse my sniffing. My fall allergies are in full swing. But this will be an interesting experiment to go ahead and direct seed these this year. Last year I had good success with them. I started them inside, moved them out. Then we had a really intense freeze at which I forgot to cover them. And they all died. So that sucked. Okay. So we've got those direct sowed and started, which is really exciting. And if they come up, great. And if they don't, well, it's a lesson learned for myself, and then I'll have to go back to the starting inside method. All right, next we're going to start planting in the Delphinium seedlings. And we are going to start with biotone all along the drip lines. And even though I've got the compost in, adding the biotone is good because that helps with root growth right at the very beginning, which is what I want. I'm planting these in not for blooms now, but to establish really great root systems so that come the spring, I'll have beautiful blooms then. All right, let's take a look at my beautiful Delphinium seedlings. Oh, that I just dropped. And also a random foxglove seedling that got tucked in here. So Delphinium seedlings are looking really good. I harvested these Delphinium seeds from my own Delphinium this past spring, which was really fun and exciting because I didn't have to buy them. So very exciting. This is part of the giant Pacific varieties, I believe. And I hope that that's what they're coming out up as, but they were open pollinated, so who knows what they're going to end up looking like. But Delphinium seedlings take a little bit more time. They do have to, their seeds have to go in the refrigerator for quite a while and then get them all started. And once you kind of figure out like that system for Delphinium, it's so much easier. And if you're interested in starting these, you can go ahead and check out my video. You can still start them for the spring. So don't feel like you don't have time. You totally have time. You can totally get them started again. We don't have time that you don't have time for the fall start, but you definitely still have time for spring. And I'm going to be putting them at every emitter. So that's about every 6 inches throughout the space, just like that. And then basically I'm just going to make a little hole, tuck it in, no big deal. And I should have lots of beautiful blooms come spring. All right, so let's talk a little about Delphinium as I tuck them in here. Now, they are considered perennial in a lot of areas, and they're actually considered perennial in my area. They stand up fine to the winter. It's the summer. They fry in the summer, and then they don't come back. So I treat them as an annual for me, not as a perennial. Now, when our temps get anywhere below about 25 for more than a couple hours, I will need to cover these to help them out. I need to get a longer hose, y'all. This looks silly. Okay, those look good. I love the shapes of their leaves. I just think they're so pretty. There's about 25 seedlings in there. I could probably put more in between, but I'd have to come out and do additional watering, which I'm not willing to do. So everything I'm putting in is right beside a drip line. That just makes my life so much easier. I did leave this little bit of fennel in case I have any butterflies that come through, caterpillars that want it. But those look great. Now let's turn our attention to that side of the yard and let's do some harvesting. Okay, to be honest, I have not harvested in quite a while. I just haven't been up for it, so I just haven't. So most everything is a little so far behind now that a lot of them aren't going to produce again for the fall, but that's okay, y'all. I enjoyed them while I did, and when I didn't want to deal with them, I didn't deal with them. It's totally fine. So right here, I am harvesting some volunteer celosia, and it has already gone to seed. So I do see some seeds dropping, so I will have it for next year. And celosia is definitely one of those plants that once you have it, you're always going to have it. So beware if you decide to plant it. I love it, totally, and I love rogue blooms that just bloom despite. I love it. I think it's great. There's the celosia. Beautiful long stems, loves the heat. This stuff thrives and is beautiful colors in the worst time of the summer. And the more you cut on it, the more it will continue producing side shoots and blooms. All right, we're gonna come in and harvest some zinnias. Some of them are very old zinnias, but they're still pretty. What are you gonna do? And my zinnias are just starting to show the slightest amount of powdery mildew, which is right about on time. All right, these are candy stripe. Super pretty. A little bit more petite of a bloom, but very prolific. Over here we have some more volunteer celosia. I take a little bit of this off to enjoy. And this is the same as the other celosia, a little bit more wispy. Very pretty. Okay, over here I've got some Queen Line Red. There's the Queen Line Red. Beautiful colors. You can see the newer blooms versus the older blooms. The older blooms have a little bit more of a dusty tone. The newer blooms are a little bit brighter. But as they age, they'll be dusty like that. Okay, and I'm going to harvest a few marigolds too. You're going to see me cutting a few back as well. So I still am waiting for my chrysanthemums to bloom. They won't bloom till November. And it'd be cool if I still had a little something else to arrange with those. But if I don't, it's okay. I love the smell of marigolds. A lot of people don't. I do. Cocoa marigolds. Now after you're doing the initial first cutting, they definitely are smaller after that, but still long stems. I feel like their stems are a little weaker than the first cut, but I grew them in orange. This is the gold, and this is the yellow cocoa marigolds. Also going to harvest some basil. All right, the basil does have a little bit of like rust damage in a few places, but it looks really good. I grew all this from seed, several different varieties, super easy way to add a lot of foliage to your cut flower garden. And there's no matching its smell. It smells absolutely amazing. And I even have a cold and it still smells great. Let's take a look at that. I think that I'm just going to take all these over to my mom and let her have fun arranging. I haven't been in an arranging mood lately. Just haven't been up for it. So I think I'm just going to go drop these all off with her. let her have a really good time arranging it. It's super fun. All right, you all. Oh, I got a little bumblebee hanging out. All right, you all. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Seeing me clean out half of one of the beds, planting some belts of Ireland with direct sowing, and adding in some beautiful Delphinium seedlings that I grew inside earlier this summer. And then obviously going around and doing a beautiful harvest of blooms, including Celosia, Marigolds, basil, and Zinnias. And this little bumblebee, I hope he's not going to hang around. As always, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Every time you like and comment, it helps grow my channel so much. If you don't feel comfortable leaving a comment, just drop me an emoji below, letting me know that you made it to the end and that you say hi. And be sure to check me out on my social media outlets, including Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. As always, she's a mad gardener or a decorator or anything that she wants to be. Thanks, y'all.